For as long as I can remember, I have been obsessed with the notion of prestige. From the clothes I wore to the clubs that I joined, I assessed the value of the things in my environment based on how prestigious they were. How highly was it regarded by my peers and my general society? In fact, if you Google the word prestige, you will find that it's defined as widespread respect and admiration for something based on its perceived value. But what is that perceived value? Prestige is a very interesting social construct that's been with us since almost the very first civilization. It's a unique form of respect that grants the beholder a certain level of power. In our society, holding a lot of prestigious titles is almost synonymous to holding a lot of power. One of my favorite quotes, actually, is from Spider-Man, when Uncle Ben tells a naive Peter Parker that with great power comes great responsibility. I guess what he was trying to say is that with great prestige comes great responsibility. But is that actually true? So I went to a very, very competitive high school, a place where your level of success was more often than not determined by how prestigious of a summer internship you got or how prestigious of a university you got into. So naturally, when I came to college, I continued to carry this very narrow-minded definition of success. I defined my success based on the prestige of the clubs that I joined or the scholarships that I earned. In fact, when I stepped foot on campus, I entered with a singular goal of attaining the Midterm Foundation Fellowship, the most prestigious scholarship the University of Georgia has to offer. And so every club I joined, every activity I participated in, every person I talked to, I did so with the one goal of getting the Foundation Fellowship. And when it came time to apply, my meticulous planning and months of hard work eventually got me to an interview. But even after being so close to the finish line, even after sacrificing so much, I wasn't selected. You see, I was a victim of the prestige trap. The prestige trap is chasing what others think is important, rather than what we actually think is important. I was so consumed by this one idea of success that when I didn't receive the scholarship, I genuinely believed that I had failed in life. My quest to attain the most prestigious status at this university came at the cost of my mental health, my friendships, and most importantly, my belief in my own abilities. But what happened to me isn't anything unique. We see this all the time, everywhere. In our society, we are taught to chase prestige because it opens doors for us. We should work hard and take advantage of our education, our resources, and our opportunities to get into a very prestigious school. We should then work even harder at said prestigious school to land a very prestigious job, and then we should continue working hard at said prestigious job to accumulate so much wealth that eventually we can all enter a position of such high privilege that our children can repeat this entire process for their children. I believe that this cycle of success is what prevents us from truly pursuing things that we find true value in. Our end goal should not be some prestigious title or some prestigious honor, but rather it should be a meaningful pursuit that we find true intrinsic value in. For example, a recent study from 2017 found that almost 40% of Harvard's graduating class took up a job in either consulting or banking simply because they were considered elite professions. Now, there's nothing wrong with consulting or banking, but when you're coming from a school like Harvard and have access to some of the best faculty, resources, and privileges, those students might have been able to affect more genuine and impactful change in fields that they were actually passionate about. Fields such as education, criminal justice, alternative energy, or even climate change. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that chasing prestige is completely bad. If I hadn't gunned for the Foundation Fellowship, I would not have pushed myself to work as hard or perform at the level that I did, but I paid a heavy price for it. What we shouldn't do is chase prestige blindly. Before we blindly apply to that prestigious program, job, or scholarship, we should take a minute and really ask ourselves, do we actually want to do this? We should try and find value in things that actually bring meaning to us and to those around us. Passion should come before prestige, not the other way around. The key driver of this cycle of success should be the things that we actually care about, things that we value, things that excite us, things that we're passionate about, not things that will only bring us more validation in society. You see, people chase prestige because they want to feel powerful. They equate that feeling of recognition and power with success, but I disagree. Success is not feeling powerful or holding some fancy title. Success is the culmination of our values and how we choose to express them and ultimately practice them. I, for example, overvalued prestige to such an extent that I completely neglected my other values of mental health, friendship, and self-belief. And at the end of that entire experience, I came out feeling incredibly unsuccessful. But I soon realized that I don't need the Foundation Fellowship to accomplish the things that I still want to accomplish. We must reassess our definition of success. We must sit down and really ask ourselves, what do we actually value? What do we actually care about? And how can we actually make some sort of tangible difference in the world around us? Now, I understand that not everyone can afford to sit down and ask themselves those exact questions because they are too worried about where their next meal is going to come from. But for those of us who don't have to worry about that, for those of us who are privileged, we must prioritize meaningful change before titles. When Uncle Ben told Peter that with great power comes great responsibility, what he really meant is that with great privilege comes great responsibility. Spider-Man's ability to save lives and fight off some of the most powerful villains is not some prestigious title or some prestigious honor. It is a privilege that he capitalizes on every single day, regardless of what other people say about him. We, too, must learn to use our privilege to make value-based contributions as opposed to title-based contributions. And if we don't know what our values are, if we don't know what excites us, if we don't know what we care for, that's okay. But so long as we keep an open mind, and so long as we continue trying new things, I am absolutely certain that each one of us will be able to find a unique way to express our true values, our true passions, and ultimately, our true selves. The reason I say all of this is because if you look at the word prestige a little bit closer, you will find that it's derived from the Latin root word praestigium, which literally means illusion. So let's not spend our lives chasing illusions. Thank you.